Well, good morning. It is Friday, January the 8th, 2021. We are starting a new unit on what is an expository essay. So for today, our assignment would be to watch the videos on slide 2, read about the essay recipe and essay map on slides 3 through 5, look over the essay checklist on slide 6, read the essay on slide 7, and then use the essay checklist to identify and mark the essay on slide 7. You will turn this into Canvas when you are finished. So our focus today is thinking about when you're writing, and you're writing a type of writing where it explains, describes, or gives information. That's what we call expository or informational. The root of the word expository is expose. So if you expose something, it means that you're giving information. It's factual. You're really not giving your opinions or emotions. Although for this type of writing that we will do, you will be putting in what we call interesting writing. It doesn't have to be dull and boring just because you're giving facts. Also, it needs to be organized, and we'll go over the organization of this. It needs to be clear and concise, so you're not like rambling on and on. You just need to get to your points and make them. And then make sure you're writing it in the third person. And we will work on this year. Now, this video is a great video about learning like the process of writing. What do you do? So it goes through it. This slide is talking about the informative text, which of course is explanatory, which is what our expository essays do. It presents information clearly in order to build a reader's knowledge about a topic. And then there's a checklist. You must introduce the topic, because typically in an English class or a writing class, you're given a prompt to write about. It presents ideas in an organized way. It develops the topic by stating facts or presenting definitions and other related information. It includes transition words and phrases that connect all of the information. It includes carefully chosen words that help convey the information, and it ends with a conclusion related to the topic. Remember that expository writing gives information that is organized, clear, concise, factual, with really no opinions, but definitely you're writing interesting, and then you're writing in third person. We have what we call a recipe for an essay, and this is a graphic organizer that we will use throughout the year, and it just talks about reminders like you indent all the paragraphs, and your introduction would be your hook, and then you introduce the topic, and then you have your thesis, which is what we call hit, and then we have our first point paragraph, which is body paragraph 1. You have a topic sentence, and then you make sure that you give your reason, and then you want to explain, you want to give examples, and then you write a concluding sentence. We often call that our tree model for writing our body paragraphs. And then finally, you have your conclusion. So you can have up to 3 points. I typically say try it with a smaller essay, try to have really 2 very strong points, and that's typically enough. A concluding paragraph would be where we make sure at the end we are restating or rewording the thesis in an interesting way, and then we refer back to our hook, or refer back to our thesis, of course, and then you leave your reader with a final thought. So that's the recipe. And then we have the expository essay map, going through all of basically what we just talked about, the introductory information, the thesis, your topic sentence, and then this is all your body paragraphs 1, 2, and 3, which is usually optional. And then you're concluding, which is what we just talked about. And then here's an essay checklist we're going to use for today's assignment. We are going to actually look at a mentor essay, which is very well written, and we will use this checklist to identify each item and mark it in the essay on the next slide as indicated. Use the check marks as you complete each item. So as you complete each item, you're going to use these check marks. So if you say, read the essay on the next slide, then type here what you think the prompt was. So you'll read the essay and then type what you think the prompt is. So once you come across these, are there 3 or more paragraphs, you'll just move these check marks. Or yes, there are. So you're also going to look at the introduction, and the introduction begins with a hook, so you're going to label each part of the introduction. So with your hook, highlight it in orange. Does the introduction have an introduce the topic or bridge sentence? That's highlighted in green. Your introduction ends with a clear thesis statement that answers the prompt with a clear topic, position, sign, detailed support, reason, evidence. You will highlight this yellow, your thesis statement. And then it goes on to tell you for the body paragraph, do the body paragraphs have a topic sentence that supports the given thesis? If yes, highlight it blue. Are the paragraphs and ideas connected with transitions, transition words? Use blue circles to find those transition words. Are the supports developed with clear, specific examples and details? And you will underline any examples. Your conclusion, so label paragraph in the essay. So does the conclusion word refer back to the thesis? And highlight it in yellow. So the conclusion, it needs to reword or refer back to the thesis. And you're not saying it exactly the same way. You're saying it in an interesting way. The conclusion ends with a final thought, reflection, or message. And it also refers back to your beginning or your hook. And looking for ideas or creativity, all details and examples in the essay support the thesis statement. Tone words, such as adjectives, are used to establish the mood. Use pink circles for your tone words. Pick one tone word. Pick one tone word used and type it here. And I'm going to fix that one here real quick. What mood or feeling does this tone word create? And you will type it here. And put a question mark here. You also want to find the imagery used to create a picture in the mind. Type one example of imagery used here. And then figurative language, simile, metaphor, idiom, hyperbole, all of those, make them bold. And then sentence structure is varied with compound, complex sentences. Use parentheses around sentence structure. So when you see a compound or complex sentences, put parentheses. And then you're going to finally check for grammar. Check for any of the following grammar mistakes, run-on sentence or fragments, written in third person, too many use, things like that. So here is the essay, and I will read it quickly, and then we'll go through and look about how we will mark it. Expository mentor essay. Having a friend is like a pillar. I'm going to start over. Having a friend is like having a pillar supporting a house. Without it, the house would collapse, just like that house. Without a loyal, trustworthy friend in one's life, one would collapse too. It is important to have a good friend in life because a person will always need someone to rely on and trust. Having a good friend in life means having someone to rely on with virtually anything, from holding a phone while running a race to holding secrets from the rest of the world. A real friend is someone to depend on to not let one down in times of need. For example, one can count on a real friend to bring forgotten shoes needed for after-school basketball practice, just in time for practice to start. A true friend will be that dependable person in one's life that is always there without question or second thought. A good friend is not only someone to rely on, but a good friend is also someone to trust without a shadow of a doubt. A trustworthy friend will be that person to keep one's innermost secrets or be there to share personal thoughts and feelings with. For instance, if a person has a crush on someone, they should be able to share and trust this secret, this sacred secret, with their friend. Also, a good friend can be that person to just listen while someone is having a bad day or need to talk about their feelings or get something off their chest. To sum it up, a true friend is that person to confide in, depend on, and trust in to never let one down. Your friend is the pillar that holds your house together, even in the toughest storms. Friendship is the most valuable key to weathering any storm. So, looking at this essay, just so you will know, this actual essay was written by a 7th grader on an actual STAR assignment for our STAR writing essay. And this student did a great job. I mean, it got what we call an 8, which means 2 different graders graded her essay and gave her perfect scores, which would be a 4. That's how it's graded. So There's a lot to like about this essay. So if we look at this essay, the essay checklist, the first thing it says, read the essay, and what do you think the prompt was? Write an essay, explain what you think the prompt is based on what you read. And some ideas would be something related to friendship. We know that. So it could be something like explain the values of a good friendship, or is having a friend important in life. So anything related to that would be a good answer here. And then organization, are there 3 or more paragraphs? So you're going to go through this checklist and mark these different parts of the essay. And when you're finished, submit in Canvas when complete for a daily grade.